Welcome back, guys. It is your boy Broncos Guru, and come on aboard, take a seat, and let's go ahead and get this week's episode of Boating News of the Week started. Our first boating headlines making news this week, well, that's Florida shutting down the party. That's right, these are some scenes from the sandbar down in Miami. Here you can tell there's not a whole lot of social distancing really going on, and once government officials started learning that people were really just using this as an extended vacation and going out there and partying, well, they decided they were going to go ahead and take this a step further, and they have decided to go ahead and shut down all local boat ramps and marinas to anyone who's not a commercial fisherman. Many South Florida counties have also taken this same stance, really trying to shut down the party in Florida. But I gotta ask them, what were they really thinking was going to happen? I can't imagine they really thought they were going to tell a bunch of people to take time off of work and these guys weren't going to go out and hang out at the sandbar down in South Florida. Don't get me wrong, I understand this is the minority and the majority of people are heeding the warnings. Florida's just taking the extra steps now to make sure everybody is. Our second boater making headlines this week, well, they took alone time a little bit too far. They decided they were going to go out and hang out off the coast of Clearwater, Florida, when all of a sudden their vessel started taking on water and wound up capsizing. Here you can see the two people on this 24-foot boat sitting about 14 miles off the coast of Clearwater, where the Coast Guards come to rescue them. These guys got pretty lucky. Well, I shouldn't say lucky, they were actually prepared. They had a personal locator beacon on the boat, so as soon as it got wet, it actually sent the signal to the Coast Guard, letting them know they were in trouble and letting them know exactly where this vessel was. The next time he wants to spend a little alone time with his girlfriend, though, maybe he won't take it quite this far. I don't think he actually got to sink the boat to have a good time. Our third boater this week, well, they forgot to turn the blower on. This is a big no-no. Whatever you're doing, always make sure you turn that blower on before you try and start this motor. Here, a 72-year-old gentleman was outside working on his boat when his neighbors heard the vessel explode. The gentleman was fortunate he was able to jump off this boat and get into the waterway shortly after it caught on fire. A couple of his neighbors dove in and rescued the gentleman out of the water. He was conscious and aware at the time. They said he was a little bit disoriented, but for the most part knew what was going on. They asked him if anybody else was on the boat. He was able to verify that he was the only person there. The fire department in Cape Coral, Florida is doing a full investigation into this, but they do at this time believe that it was caused by gas fumes caught in the bilge of the boat. Our fourth item to make the boating news this week, well, it's not really news. In fact, it's actually kind of fake news. Many of you have probably seen these articles floating around on different social media outlets and many of these videos as well, stating now that the boats are not running through Venice, wildlife has started to return to the waterways there, such as these dolphins and some swans and various other things. The problem is most of this, in fact, all of it is not really true. These dolphins are actually being filmed in Sardinia, several hundred miles away from Venice, and these swans are actually common sight in the Burano section of Venice. Really, this is a heartwarming story that people wanted to latch onto, but unfortunately it really just was not true. And our fifth story making boating news this week, well, that's Carnival Cruise Line getting back in the game. Except not taking cruises, but Carnival's actually offering to turn its cruise ships into temporary hospitals. This is a pretty slick idea when you really think about it. Most of these cruise ships have 1,000 or so rooms on them, which is plenty of bed space to take care of people. They don't really want to take care of people that are suffering from COVID-19, but what they're really considering is using these to pull people who have less chronic diseases or illnesses and putting them on this cruise ship to open up real bed space in hospitals to people who are suffering from COVID-19. Hopefully Carnival and the governments can get this together and that can really be a lifesaver. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Boating News of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening on your waterways, be sure to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram and let me know, and you might see your video on one of these videos. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on that subscribe button. If not, I'm coming to steal your drain plug. Speaking of drain plugs, we've finally done it. We've actually launched our Drain Plug Mafia merch. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to check that out.